bans to the last time around for APX. Still not letting Huhi play Rise, I think very intelligently, so if they don't want to play it, you don't let Huhi do that. And they realized that the Lucian, the early game power that was coming out of CLG was not something they wanted to deal with. Yeah,
definitely not. And Stixxay did the highest damage actually in that game. Was some fantastic play from him. He ended up like 7-0-6, something like that, tied for highest gold in the game with Huhi, so definitely had a really strong game for themselves. They say no Lucian, no Trundle. And I think this is nice. It's very similar to what CLG's adaptations were after their loss. They say, what are the two champions that bothered us most? Let's get rid of them. Just like we saw, Vlad, Swain, etc. Fizz was banned away previously as well. But this time around, no jungle bans is going to mean that it's going to be Nidalee for Kindred very likely. We also have Fizz open. We have Ekko open. So it's going to be the Nidalee here for Apex, but because they want to take away Trundle, because they want to take away Lucian, these champions that they found frustrating, they're going to give away a very powerful first two picks. You don't even have to pick Kindred early. You can actually take away really, really strong stuff. You can take away Ekko, you can take away Kindred if you wanted that, you can take away a priority support. There's a lot of options here, so we'll see what exactly they're going to go for. Viktor, another option.
Well, the question for me, though, is what's Darshan going to play that stands up against Fizz here? We already saw that Fizz beat his Ekko, right, despite being down in the beginning of the game there on Apex. So, like, he did just fine in the matchup. You ban the Trundle, and you're like, Darshan, what are you going to beat Fizz with? Are you gonna Fiora and, like, riposte a fish or something? But says, I'll just take the Ekko anyway. We'll grab the Karma support. It worked for us last time, and we'll just see what happens.
Also, in my opinion, I've got to say that it wasn't as much the 1v1 matchup that was a problem with the Fizz game. It was more the fact that he had so much backline access and they did not have a good way to protect themselves. Bard getting zeroed out, Stixxay getting zeroed out. So, we do have a little bit more protection here with the Karma shields and so on and so forth. But they also may not even pick Fizz this time around. We'll have to see, but it's looking like they're going to lock it in.
Yeah, as much as they may not pick Fizz, they're definitely going to here in this one. Play the matchup again. Also, you mentioned it earlier that they can pick up Kindred whenever. Yeah, they've got another great protection sort of champion in the Kindred jungle that we assume might come out here. And hey, keep your backline alive. Yeah, especially when you see things like this, you're like, oh, they're going to try to dive. This is going to be scary.
Yeah, and it's a champion that Xmithie is great at, right? Like, this is not something that he's inexperienced on. They could go with the Graves as well. They are hovering that, but it's going to be the Kindred lock as expected. That is definitely something that would have been a surprise if he were not to go with it. I like it a lot, even more for the reasons that you did state. It's a great combo as well with champions that do have shields, have heals. So what you can do is you could actually save your Mantra shield as Aphromoo. The Lamb's Spite pops, you pop the Mantra shield, and you have the advantage to actually burst down the opponents.
What's actually great about the synergy there is when Lamb's Spite triggers, when you get down below the percentage of health, you can't take damage and you can't heal.
Yep.
But Mantra shield is a shield. Like, it'll pop, like, there's no, like, stringent timing requirement for Aphromoo to hit the thing, because as soon as the shield's on, I could be wrong, but I think you can't break the shield anymore either. Like, you no longer take damage. So I think the shield actually wouldn't even break if you popped it early.
That I'm not actually sure about.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But either way, it's definitely a really nice combo. Works similarly with other things of that nature. If you're playing Jada, you shield your AD carry out of it. It gives yourself a really good advantage, and it makes it a lot tougher to pick that into it. But Zilean is going to be locked in. And Zilean with the Fizz, I think, is definitely very frightening. It's saying, all right, well, you have an immunity, I'll just bring him back from death, and then he'll go again, round 2.
Apex has the most annoying frontline in, like, roughly the history of League of Legends. I guess Vladimir would make it even worse, but it's a Fizz and an Alistar. Both are already hard to kill, and you've got a heal from Nidalee and Zilean to revive one when it happens, so...
Some pretty slippery champions, though, from CLG. I mean, Ezreal, not an easy champion to lock onto. I think that's also a nod towards the Fizz. He said, yeah, that was frustrating on Caitlyn. I'd rather play something, like the Ezreal as opposed to maybe even like a Sivir or whatever, who's going to have a lot more difficulty getting away. So it'll be interesting to see what the mid lane pick is going to be, because I think that it's also going to want to be something that has some pretty high team fight damage, because Ezreal is not really that tank killer, especially if we're going to see that front line of Alistar and the Fizz being brought back. I would probably say we're going to see Viktor again. I think he fits very well. I also think that the Viktor W is pretty nice with Kindred Ult too. You can drop down that in the middle of it. Chaos Storm over top of it. A lot of these AoE options synergize well with that ability.
And yeah, even if Ezreal's not the biggest tank killer, you've got another marksman jungler who, by the way, is going to go Blood Razor, and passive gives you more % health damage. So
and high consistent damage from Viktor, so allows you to punch through them. I think it's a pretty solid draft, but Apex is going to be frightening if Ray can go off. He's going to be enabled a lot here by Keane.
Yeah, Apex has a lot of playmaking tools. CLG have actually really bad team fighting gauge. It's just a 5v5 comp, but they can kind of just send it around Dragon and say, come to us. But the way in's not exactly easy for them. So Counterlogic Gaming, less tools in their toolbox, but it is one very sharp katana they've all kind of wielded together. And that's kind of the idea there for Counterlogic Gaming, looking to, again, take that step towards the Summer Championship, to be the first team in North America to make it 3 in a row. And after losing 3 games in a row, they've now gotten 1 game win under their belt, but this one will mean the match here as Counterlogic Gaming and APX, their coaches, make their way off the stage, and now it's up to the 10 players on the Rift to put it all out there. Ray has been such a bright point for that squad before. We've seen Huhi, go back and forth different champions. His TF was a major factor for them winning in their game in this series, and now that third one's all about how they can play it out.
I agree completely. It's going to come down to the play.
Hashtag APX win, hashtag CLG win. You know the drill. Let us know who it's going to be. But the third and final game of this series is up in front of us. And guys, there's still more games to be played. There's another series going on the other stream. There's another series to go on in this stage after this one's done. There's more League Legends to be had. But game 3 is here for us. APX versus CLG.
I'm excited. Game 3 is so important. Whoever wins here gets kind of wiped that loss off the page. Yes, it's still there in the overall game record, but it doesn't really matter as far as points. So the 2-1 is worth just as much as a 2-0. That's the big thing that they are going to be fighting for, and it'll be interesting to see how these guys are going to play it out. A lot of focus has been showed both in Game 1 and Game 2 on the top lane, and Shrimp is back on that Nidalee. It's a great early jungler.
Definitely is. CLG pushing in, making a special run away from his side of the jungle. Counterlogic Gaming are stepping on top of trinket wards. This happens, though. But they will put enough wards to reveal where APX will maneuver themselves. Xpecial cannot punch fast enough to kill the trinket ward, and Ray will actually get a very similar one himself in the top middle of the map.
We also have Apollo, who had kind of snuck down into the bot lane and was looking to see if he could maybe kind of sneakily get down there. But he's looking... I don't know if he's going to recall or not. I think they're just really trying to decide where are we going to go, because you can see CLG wants to match them. They're just sitting in the mid lane waiting, actually. They really do want to have this 2v2, and they're waiting to see, hey, where are they going to go? Where are they coming out of? And since Apollo was already in the lane, he's not actually spotted walking there, and CLG is going to have to straight up guess.
Yeah, and they guessed wrong. Actually, we saw Xpecial walked past the trinket early and said, I could recall, or might be in the lane, and now you don't know. So really good mind games playing around the fact that he knew where CLG's wards were. Yeah. A great mind game by Xpecial. Veteran status right there for him.
Apollo as well. I mean, just walking straight to lane, not delaying at all. They're counting on that bot lane ward to be able to tell them where to go. And since he actually never passed that and they don't have top lane wards, they just assume, hey, he has to be top lane.
That's not the case here. So here we go. 2v1 Darshan. Yeah, got to get stunned up and take a whole heaping help of damage. Actually flashes. I don't think he quite needed to. I don't think Ignite would have been lethal damage, and we knew the Pulverize and Pilter for Peacemaker were down, but Darshan loses his flash for the chance to get XP, but he got no CS there.
Yeah, and this is where it does get a little bit greedy, where, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, right? But he did it 2 times in a row.
Yep.
And now he's doing it a 3rd time, and they're going to punish him. They knew what his trick was going to be. He always loves coming in, picking up some of the XP, getting a couple CS. He's got that advantage twice in a row, so APX adapting. They're in position to punish, and it's going to cost Darshan his flash, as well as the fact that he's not going to get any XP or CS.
So we'll see in the next 4.5 minutes if it gets punished, or if Counterlogic Gaming can hide him long enough to get that cooldown back. We're seeing Keane push very aggressively early on in this one. Last hit as much as he can, 14 minions, but that's 14 of a possible 19 in that landing phase. So he's missed quite a few, and Huhi will be having more than him despite being pushed in. That'll be Counterlogic Gaming a bit more CS for themselves. Darshan manages to walk all the way up to this top lane, and Counterlogic Gaming gonna wait for this as they knock that down. Looks like a very similar road for both these squads. The difference, though, is we know APX loves to actually push in and take a dragon during those early games.
Chunk, actually, from Huhi in the mid lane, who's kind of manhandling Keane a little bit. Keane's already gonna have to base pretty early here, and gonna have to TP back to lane, and he does not actually have tier gold. Yeah, I'm not sure if he would want to go for that anyway, or if he'd be going row or what, but it's not the best time to base. Not really gonna be feeling too good about that.
It looks like it'll be just a Doran's Ring and a pink ward for him. APX playing the level 1s and their lane swaps the way they always have so far, and that's ensuring they get that early first dragon, and this one's gonna be an Infernal Drake for them, which doesn't mean a ton this early on in the game, but always feels good and is always relevant as time moves on. And when a lot of the game is, not all of, but a lot of the game has come down to the top lane matchup. Just giving him stats for PvP combat is definitely important.
For sure. And Apex has been so good about picking up all these neutral objectives. One thing to note, though, is ADAP, it's not all damage, right? And Ray is very likely not going to be building a lot of that, so he's probably not going to get too much from it.
It's true, yeah.
Although he did, in that one Fizz game where he got really, really big, he ended up building Azonias.
So yeah, maybe it comes in at some point. Ray does have 7% Magic Pen, so it looks like it was Fervor of Battle once again for him. It's just very much based on his matchup that he wants to go for in this. And looking at Darshan, he's in a similar boat of that 7% Magic Pen. So
Keane could be in trouble, though. He's pretty far up.
And he's been slowed down. He flashes, but I think they're still going to get reached there. Plenty of damage comes out, and yeah, it's going to be the kill coming in through for Xmithie. Got the mark as well. Nice first blood.
Yeah, big first blood there for them. They force out the TP especially, makes it even worse because now he has to walk back to lane after he's going to be losing all these waves, and he's going to be put in a situation where Huhi doesn't even have to TP back. He's going to lose nothing.
Absolutely the case. Huhi flashed for not very much here himself, but Xmithie kept his summoner up. Shrimp now trying to counter jungle a little bit here, running around the side of the map. Darshan has to dodge away from the Javelin, and he's going to be okay, but he's forced off the turret, kind of unsurprisingly. Counter Logic Gaming doing kind of as expected. It's round 2 of the lane swap, but they're just trading turrets here.
Stixxay has picked up his tier nice and early, going to be able to stack that up. A couple daggers there for Apollo. I wouldn't have been surprised to see him just actually go for a cull early on. I think that's pretty reasonable.
I really do like Cole when you're going to be in a secondary lane swap here. Just get yourself towards that second item sooner. I think so. Mostly no reason not to do it.
Yeah, for the Ezreal it makes more sense because you want to get that tier stacking, so it's more of a trade-off for the stacking. But you know, Apollo, those daggers aren't going to be too big of a deal, so we'll see.
Let's see what Shield does with the laning phase. They've actually not really killed all the minions. It's going to be kind of awkward. I'm not sure if it's going to freeze or not.
It will freeze because the second wave gets there a lot sooner because it's on Apex's side of the map. So this will always push back towards CLG.
It takes like roughly 3 extra minions to counteract that fact, and that's not... Man, they have less than that in terms of bonus minions there. So both turrets traded down. This time around, though, Ray got the solo gold, and look at that Apex.
Must be nice.
Same level 1.
He doesn't even have to participate. The Alicia for him. He's got 3 guys. He's like, all right, bros, I'm going to be up here in the top lane. I'll get all the solo gold, all the XP. You can go do the Rift Herald.
I'll
come get that too. Well, but I mean, he earned it in the first time on Fizz. Like, all right, Ray, we got you. Here you go.
Here you go, buddy. Now, carry us. We put the investment in you. It's going to last till 26 minutes and change in, and you can keep that on your watches to see how much he can bully Darshan with that.
Darshan did not get the solo gold from the turret as well, so even though he's up on CS, he's actually down a tiny little bit on gold, so
yeah,
very, very
40
even.
Gold difference.
And then the Rift Herald buff obviously going to put that into Ray's favor.
Yeah, Ray though actually down pretty much a full level. He's actually really kind of barely 3 without a bunch of minions in front of him, so it's not going to be the fastest leveling for him. You can see the XP, that purple bar down at the bottom above his skill order.
And this is a really nice minion prep from Darshan. He actually, you know, it was just last inning. He waited till the blue side wave was big enough that he can base without his minions killing very many of his opponent's minions. And it means that he can walk right down, and he's going to have a nice, juicy mini wave built up for him. Doesn't have to use his DP, doesn't have to sacrifice very much. And it's foresight like this that actually can be extremely important in professional play.
I definitely agree. It's a really good thing right there. You don't always push the wave before recalling. Sometimes you pull the wave before recalling, and you walk into a freeze as it heads towards you. That only works when your outer turret's dead. Otherwise, that would have all been sacrificed to the turret gods, and that would have turned into a lot of damage. But in this case, it works out for him. However, though, keep in mind that because that lane's kind of frozen, Shrimp wants to go and play aggressively over here, but he can't stop Xmithie from handing this over to Huhi.
And, you know, the fact that Xmithie is around here means that he's going to have protection for Darshan, who, you know, the way that this backfires is you let this wave build up and then you get dove and you lose it. But since Xmithie is over there, he knows that that's a potential. He's going to be there to help protect him. And once again, Xmithie is actually ahead of the Nidalee on farm, which is really, really good. He's always been doing a fantastic job keeping up on his farm, making sure to keep pace and not let the Nidalee get early game advantages.
It's been nice stuff. You can see Ray still only level 4 right there. Looking at his XP again, it's actually, he'll hit barely 5, but Darshan is like 5 with room to spare right here. So it's
he's
still
close to 6.
A great XP lead for Darshan, and most of the time he'll be a level up because of that. Looking at the duo lanes, plus 12 for Stixxay. And this is choices though. Like, if Apex is spending time taking Rift Herald and taking Dragon and things like that, they're going to be taking Aphromoo on this one. There's the flash over, but he's going to get away from the pulverize. Now put some damage across, but Stixxay shoved across, and still a trade kill on a Shrimp. But the flank did come through, and one was picked up. It's the bot lane already dead for CLG. Re-engaging now. Xmithie flashed the way after Lamb's despite times out. Xpecial. Yeah, sadly for CLG, the ulti lasted long enough, gets 700 health back, and comes back up on this one. Overall, though, 2-for-1 advantage goes to Apex.
So they will have a nice little trade for themselves. The Zilean ult comes quite in handy, especially as you do start to get more and more CDR. That thing is up so ridiculously often. Also scales with AP, so the more AP you have, the more health they'll come back with. But let's watch the fight again. A lot of it's going to come down to a really nice javelin here from Shrimp. Nails Aphromoo, who really has not too much chance of surviving after losing all that health. He has to flash out. Stixxay gets left alone. He's going to go down.
Good by him, though, to go for the ulti instead of trying to flash away. He knew he was dead. And at this point, yeah, they've already traded the 2-for-1 because the bot lane got killed. And I don't know the timer quite on that, but I think he would have been fine regardless. He actually walked in to the Ekko queue, which is smart of him, to make sure he got revived.
Yeah, I think even if Darshan tried to wait, then he would have just been out of range of any damage. So I think it was fine to try for that. And you know, sometimes by the narrowest of margins, you can pick up those kills. If the Zilean ulti just happens to expire right at the right time.
Yeah. So, CLG Gaming, 700 gold to lead for them. The point I was talking about before the fight started was the CLG early game in lane swaps is more about getting the farm, getting the levels, and securing that for their individual players, and going for sort of individual leads, individual advantages. Apex has routinely gone for Dragon, for Rift Herald, for the team-wide ones they can balloon elsewhere, but suddenly, Darshan trying to abuse that advantage, walks into an Alistar, and it means a kill goes through the Ray.
Oh, and that is now a 2-0 Ray, and Darshan wanted to push this in. He wanted to deny the CS, bully him out. Well, he had the level 6 advantage, and having died without even getting to use his ultimate there, because a nice CC chain from Xpecial means that all of his advantage is gone. I mean, he's going to be down on gold, 600 gold behind already, and it's the Rift Herald buff, so it's going to be a tough one for Darshan in this matchup.
And now Xmithie wanting to stop the Dragon hit, but suddenly there's an Alistar right on top of him, and Xmithie does not have Lamb just fight available, but he's going to kite around from Shrimp and get the first kill picked up. Now Xpecial stuck inside the pit with them. And the stun's going to be enough. The revive comes through just to make sure all was well. It's a trade of junglers going back and forth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Xmithie actually had his Q back up to hop over the wall, but he tried to jump over the fat part of the wall. Did fail that right as we did see Keane TPing in. At least he does prevent the Dragon. 1-for-1 trade, not too bad. Obviously, you know, he would have liked to get out of there, but still it was a worthy play.
And I believe he had Shrimp marked as well, so Xmithie on 4 marks right now. Wow. He's got all the kills from CLG. 4 marks the Kindred, 12 minutes in. Definitely solid for him. He barely walking away from the double bomb, and it's
here comes Ray from the top side, though.
Well, be careful, because Fizz wants you, and it's going to be a dead Huhi on this one. Not really a chance to live. Maybe, actually, he does have it. The shield comes in. He survives the bomb. Who can block the block? Yeah, there we go. Stixxay gets it, and actually, Ray goes down, and somehow, by a sliver of health, Huhi survives.
Yeah, tiny bit of health there. Aphromoo with the Mantra shield actually protecting him. And the exhaust came in as well, so Aphromoo, the savior there, barely able to keep him alive.
Tight stuff right there, but yeah, a 1-for-0 that CLG narrowly managed to acquire for themselves. But it's several recalls coming through. The Ezreal and the Viktor having to walk back across the map to rejoin the team.
It's an important one, though. You know, you can't let Ray get out of control. He's shown just how good he is on this Fizz. He can absolutely take over the game if you let him. And here he comes. Nails the ultimate as he has done all day. The Q is actually flashed by Huhi, which is important as well. Because it is targeted to an area, you actually can stop the damage, unlike a lot of other abilities similar to that. And then we did see the exhaust come out, the Monster Shield from Aphro. So great play from both guys. Ray still has his flash, though, still has playmaking ability, and that ultimate is already just about back up.
Keane's got to feel good about that one, honestly. Looking at his cooler reduction as a stat right now, Keane's sitting at 10.57, which looks like just a bunch of scaling CDR glyphs for the most part. Otherwise, he's going to be okay. Xmithie clearing with a pink ward. The second Drake of this game is going to be the Cloud Drake. Movement speed went out of combat, as Apex had gotten the first one, the Inferno Drake, earlier on during the lane swap.
Keane's coming around, though. They're going to keep chasing this, perhaps, and they're looking maybe to try to dive now. The TPs are coming in.
Stixxay walking into the javelin, scaring him a little bit. Actually, Xmithie soloed the Drake down there a little while back, and looks like CLG Gaming was able to just disengage entirely.
But double DP. It cost them both Huhi and Darshan CP, and now there's 4 guys in the top lane doing nothing. And APX has a bit of an inside track here on that mid lane turret, but no mini wave just yet, so they're not getting too much done.
And now we see them running around looking for an attempt at a blue buff. That's not around either. Xmithie's been taking neutral objectives pretty quickly. Blood Razor enchant already done on him. He's like really crushing the jungle super fast. Hunter's Potion on as well. He's always going to be full health, full mana.
Yeah.
And this seems to be the guy who's going to have to carry this game. He's doing it so far.
Yeah, and I think the Hextricker is a great buy. You know, AP damage from the top laner and the mid laner and the jungler. A lot of the guys that he's actually going to be mixing it up with, he doesn't really want to get in the face of Apollo for the most part. He's going to be more dealing with people that are coming to him. So it's going to give him a lot more dueling potential, and it's going to make it very hard to burst him out, even if you do catch him in a combo.
So Counterlogic Gaming still playing very aggressively, looking to knock down the mid lane, but Keane was able to wave clear pretty quickly with the double bomb. But it's much like game 2, I should say. It's CLG really playing a high pressure game. They've now got the, of course, rotational advantage thanks to the Cloud Drake. They run a little bit faster than Apex does. Maybe they can find those openings because of the move speed. Apex, though, otherwise has better combat stats and less counteracted by the extra gold CLG has.
They certainly do. You know, worth mentioning, though, Huhi has carved out a really nice lead for himself here in the mid lane, just about 30 CS. He's a level up. He's been doing great, and Viktor is a team fight beast. You know, they're winning in most lanes, really just not Darshan because of those couple kills. He's actually a little bit behind, but still, you know, he's up about 30 CS, well, 25 or so now himself. So all of CLG is doing pretty well, but because, you know, they have the Infernal Drake, because they have the Rift Herald buff, Apex is definitely extremely competitive as far as combat stats, and the Infernal Drake is going to scale towards the late game pretty heavily. So the longer the game goes, the more they're getting from that.
And speaking of Infernal Drakes, the next one to spawn is going to be the second Infernal Drake of the game. If Apex can stack that up, it's a huge stat buff. 16% attack damage and ability power, going to mean quite a lot for Apollo and Keane specifically.
And we've been down that road before. Xmithie stole it, so we'll see. Apex is going to have to do their best if they're going to go for this to really secure it. And something that can't be overlooked is just zoning out the jungler. Xmithie has proven that he can consistently steal these, or at least be very competitive with these smites. So you need to not only just like try to finish off the dragon really fast, you have to make sure that their jungler cannot enter. A lot of that is going to be on Xpecial. A lot of that is going to be on Ray. You can headbutt him out. You can just start attacking him, try to push him back away from the objective.
So definitely the tools are there to secure these dragons if Apex can keep their map control up. But Counterlogic Gaming looking to make the plays, and look at this, the flank coming around the backside, walking past the wards, and Keane has nowhere to go. I can't see him getting away from this one without a severe outplay.
He maybe could look for the TP, but
he doesn't have Iceboard yet, so he has no slows. He gets a he's not going to go anywhere. Keane won't even burn the ultimate cooldown because he's too worried about that being down next time you might need it. Another mark of the Kindred goes through to Xmithie, who actually got the killing blow as well. So yeah, he's on 5 marks. He's got 4 kills.
Xmithie's going to be huge. I mean, this is going to be a frightening Kindred, and Kindred has great teamfight utility already with the ultimate, but given this kind of a gold lead and this many marks, and God, he's going to shred your front line too.
Look at that. The threat of diving down into the mid lane makes the rest of Apex run away as Huhi was able to finally push down the mid lane enough to knock that turret down, and the score is 3-2 in turrets. And you're seeing the gold lead at a not too shabby 2,000 right now.
Yep, Stixxay working away with that early tier. You know, he's getting pretty close actually to upgrading into that Muramana, which is massive for Ezreal. When you do get that, you get a huge damage boost. So that's going to be, you know, done probably within the next couple minutes, very quickly, likely before 20 minutes even. And
he's only 700 gold away from completing Iceborne as well. He can afford the Glacial Shroud now. The combined is 650-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, once you have all that CDR, you have the Muramana, you become very, very strong, very hard to deal with. And as we talked about in Champion Select, you're pretty slippery. You have so many E's, dash in, dash out, speed ups from Aphromoo. The exhaust is available as well for the Fizz, and that's something I don't believe that they had last time around. I think that Aphro was actually running Ignite because he was the only source. Exactly. So having the exhaust makes it a lot harder alone for the Fizz, and now you have the exhaust, plus you have all these slippery characters that are going to be tough to deal with. And then even if you manage to get through all that, well, there's Xmithie with the Kindred ult.
That's true. So difficulties ahead then it looks like for Apex. If they can't get the split push to work, they don't really have the same team fight power, and Counterlogic Gaming just simply
gonna have
able to walk up and push turrets down with this.
You know, gonna have to look for good engages from Xpecial, be able to knock people out of the Kindred ult.
That was nice by Keane though.
Yeah,
got
really
the double
nice.
bomb and made Huhi flash away from the threat of the other one. Xpecial could have easily followed up on that, but now more onto this Huhi. Is just on the wrong side of this map, getting assaulted, and he can't get into the Kindred ulti. Xmithie can't save him, so that's one kill picked up. And now it's really dangerous for CLG. Xmithie trying to get over the wall, trying to get away from the team. It's still Darshan stuck in the front lines, getting wrecked. He's already dead. Xmithie's going to be next up. Ray gets the third kill of the fight, and nearly a kill comes through. Stixxay almost takes down Shrimp, but now this is bad news bears. 3 kills picked up, 5 versus 2. And mid lane going to be easy for Apex.
Yeah, I mean, CLG thought that they had caught someone on the bot side. Xmithie was actually down in the bottom of the red side bush, and he was looking. Oh God, Stixxay may get caught here as well, and he's gonna go down.
That's gonna be a simple kill picked up for Ray, and that's the ace overall. They were still respawning, so 5 kills in a row for Apex. And looking to bring this game right back up. A severe misstep by CLG. Apex taking control.
Yeah, really bad. I mean, Huhi had to blow his flash, and then he just kind of wanders through the jungle expecting that they're not going to be there anymore. And now here comes Darshan TPing in, trying to get something to happen.
Yeah.
But Darshan looking like he may go down.
His death might be what's happening. Apollo takes 1 kill down. Huhi does manage to trade 1 back, but suddenly it's going to be a 1 for 2. Xpecial good kiting away. Huhi running fast thanks to the empowered Q. He's got the perfect hex score already. Move speed off of popping the power surge. And you know, 1 for 1, I suppose, but still not pretty.
So here we go. You can see Xmithie is actually looking on the bot side to pick off this Zilean as he walks through. Huhi wants to go join him, but you have no flash. You're walking onto a ward of your opponents, and Xmithie had to flash to try to land the Kindred ult. That misses anyway, and now it's a disaster. Xmithie uses his flash. He can't get out of there, and he didn't even save Huhi with it. So as soon as that happened, the fight was already over. Stixxay trying to make the best of a bad situation, cannot finish off Shrimp though. And then in the extended fight, Aphromoo and Stixxay stick around for some reason and both give up their lives as well.
Rough stuff. CLG Gaming losing a lot of control, and Apex now got to feel real good about this. It looks like the dragon that had spawned was taken, and I'm assuming Apex got it. Actually, no. CLG? Am I missing something? CLG Gaming actually wearing an Infernal Drake buff now, so during the replay, CLG Gaming now wearing an Infernal Drake buff on top of the Cloud Drake they already have, so just based on how the rotations happened, CLG was able to grab that one for themselves.
Yeah, I guess Apex just felt like they had to base after the little chase into the top side of the river. You know, Darshan TP'd in, they traded kill for a kill, and then Xmithie's able to get down to the dragon and actually take that out for his team. So although it was obviously a very bad turn of events as far as the kills go, picking up that Infernal Drake is very big for CLG, and denying it away is really huge.
And the next one coming up is, I believe, second Cloud. And that, honestly, at that point, starts becoming a really severe rotational advantage for CLG, which is already their forte as a team, so.
Plus, when you get Elder Dragon, you get more burn based on how many Drakes you have.
Right.
So just having any of them is pretty nice as far as when you get to that stage in the game.
Definitely agree. Well, right now, it is Apex, though, what looks to be in the driver's seat, pushing Xmithie around. Level 12, takes a shot to the face. The shield comes in late from Aphromoo. And Stixxay chunked by a javelin from Shrimp. Yeah, he had to jump away from Keane as well. And Apex certainly not saying die. And again, they're the ones with engage tools. They've got Riley's Nidalee. They've got Alistar with Zilean. They've got Ray, who's been so good at flanking.
They're the ones in the lead. I mean, they're the ones with the gold lead here. 1.5K is not that big, but still. Ray is the 4-1 top laner. Darshan's 0-3 on Ekko again, and Darshan is kind of getting trounced right now by Ray. Both these Ekko games, he has not been able to actually handle Ray on the Fizz. He had, you know, a solid game on Trundle, but so far Ray has just been so high impact. He has been able to find the plays constantly, and when he sees it, he's not afraid to pull the trigger. He goes for it constantly. The guy has the killer instinct for sure, has been playing amazingly for Apex.
Absolutely agree. Another quiet killer for them is Xpecial. He got player of the game in their entire series last time when they 2-0'd Energy. But, you know, 0-0 and 8, right? No deaths. He's been one of the big engagers for all of these fights, finding these flash headbutt pulverizers and whatnot. And you know, definitely a big deal in these fights, you know, causing the flashes that come out and then getting the kills afterwards. Nice guy Apollo, making sure that Xpecial can get those last hits and makes him nice and rich. 3-1 CS on him.
Yes, the biggest gold lead that's still actually being maintained right now is still in the mid lane, because Huhi's up 50 CS. He is up a level as well, has a pair of kills. He's doing great. So a lot of the burden is going to be on Huhi and Xmithie this game, as you know, Stixxay's kind of still scaling. He's doing fine, obviously, but as far as teamfight power, I think Caitlyn does get favored there. And Darshan is definitely a lot behind as far as the top lane goes.
Darshan's down 1,500 to contrast the 700 gold leads of both Xmithie and Huhi.
Yeah.
And I agree on the scaling point as far as marksmen are concerned. Apollo is going to heavily outscale Stixxay's damage output, almost no matter what he builds at this point.
Yeah.
So be afraid, CLG. You're on notice. Apex probably outscales you.
Yeah, I think there are going to be arguments made for both sides, certainly. But, you know, they have to be scared. And the thing that has to be weighing heavily in their minds is that game 1 on Fizz, where Ray was just carrying. So CLG definitely not out of it. Stixxay seems to be just catching all these javelins.
Yeah, they're hitting them. I don't know if they're, you know, tipped with iron or something, and Stixxay's magnetic here, even without being pulsed by Ezreal. Just, they're hitting them, though. And it's not great. Well, it's great if you're an Apex fan. It's not great for Stixxay.
You can see how defensive Darshan is actually playing this now. Down 2 levels, down a lot of gold. He wants nothing to do with Ray. He's trying to farm basically only with Qs at this point. And Ray is really asserting his dominance in this matchup.
Definitely is. It's just rough stuff here. And the funny thing is, Ray hasn't even had to itemize much magic resist.
No.
He's got 2 big armor items and a Spectre's Cowl. And Darshan's like, yeah, but that's enough. I'm gonna hide away from you. Who's like completed a Spirit Visage ticket, like more stats to survive Ray. Still no Sunfire for this Ekko. Whoops! Xmithie. Yeah, he missed that.
You get one.
Yeah. You know, he just really respects Blank so much, he wants to be just like him.
Made it the second time. There he goes.
There
like I
you
said,
go.
you get 1. You don't get 2, but he's all right.
He's all right, and he's actually going to track Keane here. Oh, yep. Suddenly, he's found some prey, and immediately Keane's going to flash out, but not quite enough damage Xmithie can deal here. Still a loss of flash for that play, and, you know, regardless of how long that jump took, still got what he wanted.
Yeah, definitely. You know, would have loved to get the kill, but still rewarded with a flash. Intelligent play. He knows someone's going to come up and collect this mini wave. Keane gets a little bit greedy, doesn't want to wait for it to come to him. He goes up. Good cost him the flash.
Beautiful stuff here. Now Ray looking for something in the mid lane, but not really finding it just yet. Logic Gaming mostly centered around the top side of the map, and another Javelin. Actually a 3-hit. I think that slowed Aphromoo too. Thanks, Runic Echoes, applying Rylays. Another minute assassination for Xpecial, his 33rd.
Huhi picking up the Lich Bane, so as far as his actual burst combo, it's really nuts when you do get the Lich Bane hit, plus the EQ ult, that last auto comes in. It's crazy how much straight up burst you can do on the Viktor. Also very, very threatening when you do get to turrets. You can take those down very quickly. So they're going to have to be very afraid of that. And I mean, if Ray uses his E to engage and cannot avoid these, he can definitely get popped.
Yeah, 233 damage from the Lich Bane, 265 from his auto attack after pressing Q. A nice bit of 400 damage burst on the auto when that does come through. 500 maybe, his math is waning. But now it looks like pressure for the mid lane. This time the Javelin does get dodged. But CLG have yet to find aggressive footing in a while now. Apex doing a great job after that one team fight, just that one battle where CLG overstepped, thinking that they actually had the push.
Yeah. And it's looking like CLG is just going to give this dragon up, but they're not too concerned about giving over one of the air dragons. So both teams going to be on even footing as far as this does go. They did not have the vision. They did not feel inclined to actually contest for this one. I think that's fair enough, but they are kind of in a situation where you talked about it before. They don't have a lot of engage in this team. It's not a lot of explosive players who can actually just like pop in and stun someone, pop in and root someone down. So they're kind of waiting for Apex to engage into them, or for them to actually get enough control around a neutral objective, such as Baron, such as an important dragon, where they can make Apex come in.
You're seeing the attempt at that right there, trying to get Keane, but he just overrides the slow with his own move speed buff. And the team's matched up in Drakes. Final one's going to be a 3rd Infernal Drake as the final one spawns before Elder Dragon.
And that could be the one where CLG actually does decide to try to draw a line in the sand and fight for it. But the Baron is obviously on the table here as well, especially this late in the game. Teams really have to be careful about that going down. Darshan definitely has really no top lane priority right now. He's kind of getting bullied around by Ray, but Ekko can still be a force in the team fights. Does have that backline threat, and they will still have to watch out for him.
Definitely will, but right now it's still just been CLG Gaming not able to really find any good plays. Keane narrowly escapes an attempted flank by Huhi, who walks over a trap, Gets hit by Runic Echoes and is immediately sad that he got slowed. But Stixxay just playing the wave clear duty, and we've slowed this game down quite a bit. And this is kind of what games with Apex leading looks like, is they are happy to keep waiting for Ray to get some chip damage to the turret, slowly wear down the opposing top laner, play for the Dragons, play for the Baron Nashor and whatnot. But, well, we had seen some very bad situations before when they had gone for Baron, where even if Saint's not playing, his team still managed to miss the smite.
Ooh, the crowd didn't like that one.
Actually, shout out to Twitter for that one. Someone told me that, and I was like, I'm going to use that next game.
There you go. Coming in clutch.
Yep. Appreciate you. You know who you are. You tweeted me. I said, I got you. Counter Legend Gaming. Still just, I mean, it's a slow game, right? It's Apex just like, I'm going to wait for that 6-minute cooldown. I'll get the next dragon when it comes up.
And I think the question really is now, can CLG punish them for that, right? We talked about what are the weaknesses of a strategy like that. When you play this slow, this patient as Apex, you do allow the other team more opportunities to get into the game, more opportunities to find that perfect fight. And is that something that CLG is going to be able to capitalize? Because, a lot of teams would be trying to push the pace, really capitalize on their advantages, force Ray in, try to get him in there and make some plays. But this has not been Apex's style. They're content to just kind of wait around. Now it looks like they want to maybe group up and push a little bit towards this turret. And that could expose them to a flank. But right now we actually have Huhi still pushing it down, and he's going to crush this turret very fast. Level 17, Lichbane on Viktor. He's already at tier 2.
And there's enough wave clear from CLG that no damage is actually dealt on that blue elixir on him as well. 25 true damage every single auto attack. Q is even an auto attack reset. And he's going to burn teleport because he's so afraid of getting flanked on. And he got out of the range of what could have been a double bomb from Keane. So even if the turret didn't die, it was the appropriate teleport timing by Huhi. And even though he lost the teleport, I think that kind of damage is worth it. Xpecial getting chunked out by Stixxay. We're seeing Darshan still battle Ray, and Ray is running out of mana a little bit here. Also, his Rift Herald buff is going to end pretty soon.
Oh, here goes Xpecial though. Xmithie going to get knocked back in.
Xmithie trying to run. He's got to pop Lambs for Spite, but he is basically out of HP here. His team's there to reinforce. He gets away from the bombs, and it's him burning a flash on an ulti. Darshan on the wrong side of the pit, though, teleports to a ward inside the Baron pit. Can't find anyone to fight. CLG continuing to lose summoner spells for this. So I guess they did trade teleports as Darshan and Ray did the same thing.
Yeah, thankfully for them, Ray did pull that TP as well. He's not in that side lane pushing.
Ooh, CLG first in mid lane, though. Actually, they might get this.
Yeah, I think they can. It's going to be hard for them to actually walk through the Viktor. If you get caught by this Viktor, he's going to absolutely destroy you. And they kind of took the wrong way and now are stuck on the side here. Going to have to give up this mid lane turret.
Partial credit to the Cloud Drake, partial credit to CLG's great shot calling. Probably more of it to CLG's shot calling, but that one does go down. They knock down mid tier 2. And they don't stop Ray from grabbing the blue buff, and it's really nice for him that he has that, because he was honestly running out of mana slowly as he fought Darshan before. Pink ward over the wall, but yeah, they can't really jump Xpecial, and that is 75 gold down the drain.
If there's anything that shows just how much priority they're putting on this top laner, it's ridiculous that they're giving the blue buff.
Uh-oh, Keane face check! No, he walked through a pink ward. This is good Baron setup. That pink ward is the reason that he died. And he thought that CLG was on Baron, but he face checks, dies before he can ult himself, and now there's no mid laner. Xpecial dangerously low pop zone ulti, and CLG disengaged to make sure they can fight 5v4. Yeah, Xpecial, I'm not even sure why he tried to do this, but it slowed down a few more seconds, so CLG do get 2 kills picked up, and now it's time to look at Baron.
Yeah, they're kind of just milling around. The Baron's still shooting them, and they're not hitting the Baron. So Stixxay actually lost half his health there for no reason. But, they are going to hang around and try to contest this. Keane going down, and then Xpecial giving his life.
This is actually risky for CLG, honestly. It's a 3v5, but it's one that I think Apex can win. Look how low Stixxay is getting. He pops Summoner Heal to keep his health far higher. Still taking Baron damage, a poke out of Darshan. Well. And Ray, honestly, is not taking damage. Look at that. He bought so much time. Baron did more damage than anyone on Apex. A decent flash. Okay, he burned a Summoner, but super worth it. When you lose 2 people and not lose Baron's big. And Apex just walk away cleanly. They're all going to respawn before Dragon.
Yeah, and CLG needs to get back to base and get in position for the Dragon spawn. It's up in 25. It's going to be that Infernal. Huge at this stage in the game for both teams. So this is going to be really highly contested. And I mean, Summoners being burned can come into play. So we'll see if they can actually get a dividends for Xpecial not having his flash, Ray not having his flash, because most Summoners are available for CLG. Just the flash not available here for Xmithie, as he had to blow that in that earlier jungle fight.
Yeah, in terms of Summoners, not counting smites, Apex have 3 flashes and a heal and an ignite. CLG have 4 flashes and nothing else to save for themselves. Fight begins, and here we go, Darshan. Xpecial on the front line. Huhi attack, jumps over the wall, survives the shark for this one. Ray bouncing back and forth. The gravity well gets him, but he still gets revived thanks to Keane. Now Ray's back up full health and jumps over the wall to stay completely safe. Re-engaged by Xpecial, pops the ulti. but he's still got to respect the damage output that CLG could put on him. A huge double bomb, and Keane trying to set it up, but somehow Xmithie keeps him alive for now. Here comes the reset as the heal comes through, but a double kill coming out. Ray's still going to survive. 2 picked up for Apex. They've got map control.
Oh, and Stixxay whiffed on the ult. It was so close. If he hit Trimp or Xpecial, he would have got them. If he got both, he would have got 2. He gets to no one. It's a 2 for 0. But Apex is just going to straight base. They're going to head to Baron. It looks like they want the bigger prize. They do not want the Infernal Drake.
30 seconds is enough time to heal, home guard out, and then walk right back up. Shrimp running fast as he can. Xpecial took a split to the right and then joined his team up to the top, but there's still enough time to work for. Darshan's TP is not up, and Xmithie's 18 seconds away. This should be a nigh uncontestable Baron between CLG.
They're just going to try to trade for the Dragon.
Exactly. They put a ward down to make sure it's happening, and then the other 2 head on down, and Stixxay and Huhi can kill that fast. Baron certainly worth more at this exact stage of the game. We'll see how much they can get out of it.
Smart call, though, from CLG to at least pick that up, but great play from Apex. They're going to get the top lane turret. They're going to get the Baron, and we'll see what else they can take down here with this buff. It's going to be very, very powerful, but just a great team fight from them. Keane, honestly, the star of that team fight. Multiple double bombs, you know, catching out Stixxay, pushing him out of the fight. Then the Lambert's bite comes down. He gets a double bomb again to pop off 2 more people, and the revive on Ray, bringing him right back to full. So the Zilean just coming up huge at this stage in the game.
Did really massive things, and now Ray has Guardian Angel. So how many times does CLG have to kill?
I'd wager 3.
The most annoying champion possibly in League of Legends. I mean, I know Teemo's up there and Shaco's up there, but it's Fizz, guys. Like, this is just obnoxious now.
Yeah, and he's got his CDR. They're even giving him blue buffs. That's what I was trying to talk about before,
right?
Which I think is crazy because that's even AP scaling, and their mid laner was Zoom 2 and has AP, but they're not giving it to him. They're giving it to Ray.
It's all about Ray.
All the eggs in one basket.
Everybody loves Raymond here, and he's going to do his very best to carry the team.
Everybody loves Raymond, but everybody hates Fizz. So which is it?
I don't know. Who's going to be more popular? What a conundrum.
I know. It's like the immovable object versus the unstoppable force. You know, it's unsolvable.
The world blows up. I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk will tell us. But mid lane being attacked. Baron buff for Dragon. Right now, the Baron buff has meant mid lane tier 2. And it might mean a bit more. CLG still doing their best to play wave clear. Ray ignores the fact that there's enemy champions in the field. Hops over a couple of things and... No, I'm going to last hit some stuff. I don't care if you're all, like, literally right there.
That's fine. He's Fizz.
He is Fizz.
He's got this.
He does got this.
And it's going to be tough now with this Fizz having the Baron buff. He can pull them apart, but you know he is low on mana, and that is kind of his one restriction right now. It's the one thing that's been limiting him. And CLG is just giving up all the outers. They know they can't hope to defend it. They do not want to risk losing the game over fighting for an outer turret. So the inhibitor turrets is where they're going to have to draw the line, and they still have a minute or 2 left on this Baron buff. They're going to go straight in.
A little bit of wave clear coming across. The minions are gone. Darshan walking up and doesn't quite find a stun to go for, but Xpecial at half HP. Ultis all available. A re-attempt at the siege. Apex taking up the damage, taking the turret down. Middle inhibitor standing, but bottom inhibitor turret is gone. And now, Counterlogic Gaming looking for a bit of a re-engage. Baron buff timing out soon-ish. It's got about a minute, and Ray is not in danger. He'll be fine.
And honestly, the biggest limiting factor here for Apex has just been mana. Both Keane and Ray were getting really low. Keane was basically completely tapped, and they just did not want to risk going for anything. So although they do pick up a bunch of turrets, they get the gold, they're going to have to do something with this gold because now the Baron buff is going to expire, and once again, it's going to be back to a more even footing. CLG is going to be able to easily wave clear. And this is Apex, being very conservative. You've spoken about this a couple of times. I think a lot of teams would have tried to push for the inhib, because this game is definitely going late, and we have double Infernal on CLG. That's always going to be pushing more and more towards their favor as people complete more items. You also have to take into consideration, if they ever get an Elder Dragon, that's going to be devastating. So CLG is being given chances to get back into the game, but Apex has a hold on it for now, up 6K and looking really, really good.
So, talking about some of the gold leads here and the math behind all of this, the 8% attack damage and ability power is going to be worth, I want to say, about 4,000 gold in stats. That's roughly where the math lines up there. And, well, the gold lead's more than that. It's 7,000. So even despite the buff, I would consider Apex sort of stronger inventory-wise. Yeah. Level-wise, it's actually 3 for Ray above Darshan. Now 2, as Darshan just hit 16.
Yeah, there's a lot of complications in this. You know, which team is truly stronger because you have the second lives from Zilean. Depends how all that shakes out. You know, Xmithie, Kindred is a more potent team fighter than Nidalee, generally speaking, but then the Caitlyn has the edge over the Ezreal, so it really is just going to come down to the play.
There's one really nice thing I see Xmithie doing. He's going Black Cleaver here on Hurricane Kindred here, and I think it's a huge deal actually. Cool. Getting an armor shred across for both himself and this Ezreal. You know, the Q's AoE, the Hurricane's AoE, he's going to get a lot of shred across these tanks. I think it's actually a really big damage increase for the team. That, if it ever gets completed, will help a lot. But right now, nice little bit of poke. Apollo will have to heal back up, but he crits for 1,400, and there's the Nidalee heal, bringing it back up to a nice spot. Huhi across the base gate is going to survive this pretty well. Javelin's going to actually miss as well, and that is Ray's ultimate down. Now Xmithie wants to go in and does not dodge the bombs. And it's actually going to be Xpecial wanting to go in, but he should survive. Gets the ulti off in time. Yes, he does. Now he's got to kite around and be safe. There's a gravity field. Xmithie jumps over to the left-hand side, and back in they go. It's already Xmithie dropping down. Ray's got the Guardian Angel. He's totally fine. He pops the zonies. He has no worries in the world. And now Huhi gets caught, though. He has to flash over the wall. Ray just in the back line. They picked off Huhi. Now that's the Guardian Angel down. Keane has already blown his ulti, too. It's a 2-for-0. Another assassination as Stixxay is gone, and Apex looks like they're gonna do it, and they want to make this a perfect week for them. 2 victories and best-of-3s to knock down Energy, to knock down Counter Logic Gaming, beat 2 of the veterans in the LCS, and be up in that first-place spot at the end of week 1.
Xpecial pulled the trigger there, lands the combo time and time again, catches Huhi on the re-engage, comes up huge for his team on the Alistar, and this is very likely going to be the game unless Aphromoo and Darshan can pull off a miracle. I don't think it's going to happen. Ray's going to be brought back to life, full HP and mana from the Zilean ult. The minions are coming crashing in.
But there's just no chance for Counter Logic Gaming. Apex fans can have pride in this group of Lions here who end the first week of the North American LCS with 2 victories, including beating the defending champion CLG.
Not bad. They might have won all of North America, but Apex is proving that they can compete with the best. And as Xpecial said yesterday, when I was talking to him, by the end of the split, we're going to be a top team. Well, may not have to wait that long. They've already taken down CLG, and they're going to be sitting at the top of the standings.
And top of the standings, top of the lineup there, Ray, that Fizz, was only 50 gold short of being the richest person in the game. Apex continues to prioritize him as one of their major players, and he has come through big as probably their biggest roster acquisition between the splits. They got him over from Edward Gaming, and Edward Gaming couldn't play him because they already had 2 Koreans, but well, it looks like Apex sure can, and they are happy that they do. Yeah, no kidding. He's been looking so good, but you know, I really have to credit a lot to Xpecial. Yesterday played so well on the Braum. Today, you know, gets banned out on the Braum both times. Comes up huge on the Alistar. I really do feel like he almost solo won that last fight. He knocks in Xmithie, forces him to get ulted out. That gets the kill on Xmithie. They're already getting taken down. Huhi was the last chance for CLG to really hang on, and then he catches him as well. So just fantastic engages and re-engages from Xpecial. The Braum was fantastic, and you know, Ray was a beast. What else can you say? Yeah, that whole team is a beast, honestly. I'm like doing the mental checklist on who's player of the game, and I think a lot of these guys are worthy of praise. You can look at individuals like Apollo, who I think is just a very unsung sort of player. I think he's very good. Highest damage in the game. He's done that many times. He's just a great backline AD carry. He always has the damage output. Not flashy plays, but he's always there to have the secure damage no matter what happens. You know, low deaths on him, great plays. He actually went unkilled in the last game as well. Yeah, highest damage for his team. Huhi did a lot more damage overall, I do believe. Yeah, but CLG still had 2 guys way up there. Yeah. But either way, you know, Apollo, he kind of just strikes me as a role player, right? And sometimes that's the best way to play the game. When your team is already winning in other areas, you don't have to be the guy that's going flashy and trying to win the game solo. You just have to do your job, stay safe, don't die, put out the consistent damage. He's doing just that. Yeah, and you know, I think we can just kind of go down the Apex lineup, honestly. We've sang everyone's praises. Shrimp is a guy we haven't talked about much. Back in the Challenger circuit, we'd seen him many times. The one thing he was known for was being a really good, like, hard farm split push Rek'Sai player. He'd like get Black Cleaver second, and he'd just like put all the gold on him, and he'd like just try to carry the game. And like in Challenger, okay, that's cute and all, but what do you got in the LCS? And he had some good, some bad games when he subbed in during the last split. But here, like, Shrimp has been a consistent performer, right? His javelin accuracy was good. He got Nidalee a whole bunch, and he kind of kept killing people on it. Just like every single person, like, plays well in Apex. Yeah, two Nidalee games against CLG, 2 wins against CLG. So he definitely did really well. And you know, CLG may have to reevaluate some of the picks and bans. You know, may have to think about taking away these junglers if that's something that they're gonna, you know,
in their retrospective of this game if they're going to be worried about that. So it's tough though because they had so many threats. You had to look at Keane, you know, Keane on Swain and Vlad. You got to be worried about him, and now you got to be worried about Ray. They had to ban out his Fizz, and so all these different things that you feel you have to ban, as well as just like the S tiers as far as the meta goes. You're worried about various champions there, and then it's like, well, how do you also find bans for this jungler?
Yeah, right.
And you want to ban Xpecial.
Keeps being a playmaker.
Yeah.
He, you know, gets a game on Thresh. You know, gets a couple games on Alistar. Like everyone is playing on Apex at high efficiency.
Yeah.
And it's taken CLG, like, we'll go back to Ray, talk about him for a second. It took CLG so much effort to try to knock him down. Like, every single game, by the way, every single game in this series, Darshan is ahead of Ray 2 levels and 30 minions. Every single game, it's that case. Sometimes they get the Rift Herald as well, sometimes not. And almost every single time, with one exception, Ray's like, yeah, but at the end of that, though, I'm 3 levels up on you, 50 CS up on you, and my scoreline looks amazing. This guy is able to scrap together so much with what looks like nothing. And it's Apex willing to play that style. It's like, yeah, go up there, get all that farm, right? You don't get minions magically. You get them by being, you know, allocated them as a resource. And every single time that Apex kind of allows him to shine, he does, and it's worth all the resource.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen such an extreme case of kind of like top lane carry. They're funneling everything into this guy. Yeah. And for a long time, the meta has very much been, oh, you're going to play Maokai. You're going to sit there. You'll have 40 CS. I'll have 200. That's fine, though. You go W that guy for me, right?
Yeah.
But Ray, they're giving him blue buffs. They're giving him the Rift Herald every single game. They're prioritizing everything for him. It's nuts, and it's actually really paying off. So, you know, even though he is playing a tanky Fizz, he's playing very much kind of like a carry top laner style.
Right. I mean, keep in mind, you actually get more stats per level up the higher level you are. Like, you have increasing value. Like, you get actually just more stats per level 2 through 18. They're just worth more each time. And he's running Fervor of Battle, which also scales with level, which goes with your attack speed, which you're gaining with level. So, like, even just him being invincible means he's just doing 100 damage on hit with you with the Fervor. And, like, well, that's going to scale.
Plus the W on hit as well.
Right?
So it's definitely a really powerful pick. And excited to see more of it.
Yeah, so uptime has been a huge thing for Ray. Just, again, you can sing everyone's praises. Shrimp's been jungling well. Keane brings out more and more new champions. Zilean comes out, is annoying as you could possibly be. Landed some great double bumps to win some team fights. Xpecial continues to be a great team fighter as well. His initiations have been absolutely huge. He's playing tank. Like tank and initiator supports every single time, right? It's Braum or it's Alistar or it's Thresh. And like, yeah, that's cute, the NA support meta. Well, we've won every best of 3, and I'm still on that tanks right now. Like, we're, you know, Xpecial's still playing the engage games, barely ever dying, you know, making great plays himself. Apollo continues to be that safe role player in the back line, getting 1 million damage out every single time, and, you know, that whole lineup is firing.
Definitely, and you know, on the other side of the table, let's look at CLG a little bit. I gotta say, Xmithie had a great day. He was definitely on point. Darshan was really the one who was kind of getting exposed a bit today. He was the one that was having trouble against Ray a lot in both of his games, and across the board, you know, this last game obviously was a bit of a struggle. Stixxay and Aphromoo struggled to get involved. 0-3-5 for both of them. Tough first week for CLG, going to be 0-2 in series. Definitely going to be motivated to come back strong next time around.
We'll see if they can do it over in week 2, but for more on that series, let's send it over to Dash, who's accompanied by Apex's AD carry for the post-game discussion.